It might look like shoe leather and taste like shoe leather, and that's okay, because guess what? Ivan Denisovich would have snorted it up with his left nostril and been as happy as if he were having supper with the Russian president. So Two Tonys, you have a book about Two Tonys called The Mafia Philosopher. He was in the Mafia, and he served life in prison until his death in the late 2000s, right?
Yeah, his total sentences were 141 years, and he was eligible for parole after 112 years. He worked for the Bonanno crime family under Joe Bonanno Sr., and a lot of his stories inspired the Godfather movie. And Two Tonys was classified as a multiple homicide murderer. So
I recall reading, you asked him once, I think you guys were chilling in your cell, and you were asking him if he could still kill, and he's like, yeah, and then he's like, could you kill me? And then without hesitating, he like started to like strangle you with a ligature or something like that?
Yeah, he jumped up with a cable from a Stinger heating filament, wrapped it around my neck, and started to choke me out. But just as I was about to lose consciousness, he let it go.
Wow.
So he said he was always ready because he had certain enemies in the prison system. And he was, if anyone came in, he was going to have to take action. But because he was old school Italian Mafia, he never harmed women or kids. So those murders were all rival gangsters. If you've only murdered rival gangsters, you're top of the respect in the prison. He asked me to write his life story after we played a game of chess. He said he liked me, thought I was an honest person. And I was going in his cell for months on end, day after day. I wasn't supposed to be in there. And by the end of it, he said he felt like I was a son that he never had.
Wow.
When it was finally time to say goodbye at the fence, both of us, like, tears were welling in our eyes. Yeah, it was really emotional. But sadly, he died in 2010 from liver cancer from his own drug taking. I just did a TED Talk in Scotland. It should be going on YouTube anytime soon. All my TED Talks are on YouTube if anyone wants to watch them. And the title of this new TED Talk is Mafia Murderer Saves Prison Activist Life.
And it's about Two Tonys.
It's about Two Tonys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really am enjoying reading his biography that you wrote of Two Tonys. He seemed like he taught you a lot.
Well, that quote you said, Ivan Denisovich in the Russian Gulag under Stalin. These guys are getting worked to death in the cold. They're losing the nose, toes, fingers, ears to frostbite. Refused to work, dragged to death by a horse, thrown off a cliff, hung from a tree. So if the prisoners complained that breakfast was cold where we were at, the Two Tonys would laugh and say where Ivan was housed, they were fighting over a fish eyeball in the soup just to stay alive. How can you complain when there's always someone worse off? So even with Two Tonys sadly dying in 2010 from liver cancer, from his own drug taking, the spirit of him sure lives on in me, in the sense that I do appreciate the small things. No dead rats in my food anymore. No cockroaches in my bed. I'm free. I'm in the West. All this horrible stuff going on around the world. And I just really appreciate what I've got after going through incarceration and getting my life back.